Firstly, we wanted to get a baseline measure of what attitudes, behaviours, perceptions were amongst young people towards alcohol in BYKER. So we had a survey, quite a long general survey that we asked young people of the various groups to complete, just to do with how much they drank, where they were drinking, their attitudes towards it, etc., how much they thought it was a problem, just to get an overview of where they felt the issues were regarding alcohol, what their use was at the moment, to get a baseline of where the project was starting from. So we did that at the beginning, and we did it again in the end, so we can have a look and see what changes there have been throughout the projects and what the learnings have been. There was quarterly reports that I compiled based on going out and visiting each project itself and seeing what activities they'd been doing, what key learnings they had, what challenges they were coming up against, etc. So in each of those visits I took a more qualitative approach, so interviewing people who were at the projects to find out what they felt was going really well, what they felt maybe could be done differently, what they were thinking of doing next time and how they might change things differently. So I had more of a quantitative assessment with the baseline surveys, but also a qualitative take on it by visiting the projects and actually seeing what was going on when they had various activities and actually speaking to the people who were involved with them to get an overview of what was happening there.
Well, my name's Heather Johnson and I'm with Regenesis Media Community Interest Company. When we did the initial consultation with the young people around the BYKER estate, we realised that we actually got a lot more out of the young people when we put an audio recorder in front of them than if we put a video camera in front of them. They engaged more with music. That seemed to be a big focus for them.
Absolutely cool, just being on the radio and then like letting people hear what you have to say, and if people commented on why, if they liked it and why, I would actually like to do more.
I think overall, across the board, there was quite a high level of engagement from a wide variety of different people. There's a good mix in terms of gender, in terms of ethnic minority groups. Teenage mothers were involved, teenage fathers were involved at one point. So people with different concerns relating to alcohol, I think, were involved. Certainly, there was quite a widespread, also with ages from the very younger age group up into the older, almost young adults. So there's a wide spectrum of people involved, I think. I think the learnings have been quite wide with the various projects. Certainly Showstart, for example, have now a learning resource that they put together based on the work that they did with the first group of young mums. So compiling a set of resources, a set of activities, documents, etc., that they use with those groups, they built with those groups in terms of talking to them about alcohol, that they then took to use with the young father groups, and then they can then take on and replicate with other groups as well. So they've got that solid resource now from a learning from this project which they can take on and use further. So that's a definite output for them. I think there's definitely been capacity building within the groups.
Shawstart East obviously works with children under 5 and their families. And we've been working with on and off over the years. Obviously that group fluxes and changes, but we have an established group of young women who are either pregnant or have young children. We work already with that group in the sense of around offering health advice and health issues, and they choose certain issues to work on as well as parenting issues. So the group is a mixture for their children to have learning and play, and for the young mums to have times with other young mums, but also to gain some really important messages. So this was one of the groups, which is why when we saw this project we thought this was perfect, because actually this is already we're working with some young women within our area, within the community.
We established One Love North East as a collective of different people within the BYKER estate, really, and we're getting interest from others outside of the estate to help produce music and art for the local people, by the local people, really. So that's One Love Northeast in a nutshell, to benefit our own community by the people within the community.
So you use music and art as a medium to build confidence in people?
Yes.
It's all about the personality and the quality and the originality. That's why they call me Dylan C. I am the wickedest best on the rapper.
YMCA, I think they've been really successful in talking to the young people about the health implications. Sports for Youth as well, obviously they have a more direct link because they're using sports as their vehicle for engaging with young people anyway.
Jeremy Bongo. I'm a chairman of Sport for Youth organization. We operate in the east end of Newcastle, where we engage with young people, disadvantaged young people, to engage them into positive activity.
We've got a project in BYKER which has been running for about the past 16 years. We came up with a cane of the idea of doing short weekly sessions around covering different themes. So looking at alcohol and young people, first aid, risky behaviour as a result of drinking.
Well, basically we've got an event, like we're hosting an event. It was to do with alcohol awareness, just to show that you can have a good time without the influence of alcohol. Connections, they came. Streetwise, which provided like the VR goggles, to obviously show them that like about contraception and under the influence of alcohol.
Things as well related to if you were to be dependent on alcohol or kind of have a relationship with alcohol that was quite unhealthy, that these kind of things would be affected. So your jobs, your sexual health.
What do you think are the main lessons that have come out from the way the projects have approached the exercise? Is there anything that you think, with reflective practice, we might do a bit differently if we repeated the exercise?
I think one of the main challenges for some of the projects, particularly Show Start Speaking to Young Mums, was the way that we were collecting information at the beginning with the survey. I think the survey was quite a blunt tool in some respects because it was very generalised. It was it's quantitative, so it's less personal, it's less conversational. So I think there was definitely a concern amongst some of the young members that they were being judged by these questionnaires, and they were kind of maybe used to those kind of questionnaires in a different, less positive setting. So there was some kind of barrier resistance there in terms of how information was collected, which is why throughout the project I still kind of went and met with them one-on-one and took a more qualitative approach. So the data was collected in a less obtrusive sort of way, and it was kind of done in a more conversational context. So I think definitely one of the learnings is the way you collect data at the beginning. Maybe there might be a better way of collecting that kind of benchmark information.
I suppose as a teenager it was anger repressing. It led to another form of aggression that started representing itself in drink. Now the recession had me down in another sink. Now it's got me on the brink of destruction. Now I need new instructions, but I can't read the manual. I need to move over cause I just can't stand you. I'm looking at the mirror, I can't see myself.
You to understand that what you're hearing's coming from an ordinary man with a pen in his hand, a jolly lad holding a notepad, waiting to go mad and blow like the big bang. I'm flying through the galaxy off this hit like an addiction. You feel sick when you're off it.
Cause I came through and now the blood was all over my